Welcome to the LynnCAM TV Show. Here with me today from the Lynn Public School Systems, Francie Sudak and Lucy Encarnacion. I'm Sean Donahue. We're here today to talk about CFACE. Before we get too deep into it, let's learn a little bit about you ladies and your background and why you're here today. Francie, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Thank you, Sean, for having us. I'm Francie Sudak with the Lynn Public Schools for 43 years. I started out as a first grade teacher for 29 of those years at the Tracy Elementary. And since 1999, there was a grant that was written through the state, which was originally the Mass Family Networks, to try to work with families that had children from birth to 3-year-olds. And I was pretty much established with my first grade. So I read over the grant and I thought, no, I can't leave this. But after reading it, I thought, seeing more and more of the diversity that was heading into Lynn, I thought, how great would it be to maybe take on this challenge for a year and work with the grant, which I did. And fortunately, it's 14 years later, never went back to the first grade, but was able to implement programs from prenatal up to, at that point, 3-year-olds. Since then, it went from birth to 5-year-olds, and now we are serving birth to 8-year-olds.
Wow. And
when I say serving, and I'm sure we'll get into it, we offer to every Lynn resident, it's a universal program, programs with free play groups, story hours, home visiting programs. It has grown in the last few years that not only do we serve the community of Lynn, but we are also out in Nahant and Marblehead as well.
Yeah, you had mentioned that before the show, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because if you didn't have your hands full enough with Lynn, now you got to work with 2 other communities, and I think the word you had used was they're secluded kind of from the North Shore. So any time that they have to leave, they got to drive through Marblehead, you got to drive through Swampscott, then Lynn, to Salem. To get anywhere, the same thing in Nahant, you got to come through Lynn. So that's good that you're doing this. We'll definitely get more into the detail. It's interesting, you started out as a teacher, right? And now you work more on an administrative scale. How do you like that transition?
It hasn't been a transition because as far as I'm still teaching. I feel when I get up every day that I'm out there to teach, whether it's a baby, whether it's a parent, whether it's and I will get into some of the programs that I do teach. So I love the idea of administratively is not, you oversee, but I love the piece of being able to be actively involved with families on a day-to-day basis.
Great. Lucy Encarnacion, you're part of this as well. Let's learn a little bit about you and your background as well.
Sure. Well, I basically lived in Lynn all my life, been here over 30 years, and I went to high school here and met Francie probably in my 20s when I was a mom, when I just had my baby. And
you'll always be a mom.
I'll always be a mom, that's right.
Whether you like it or not.
That's a contract that you can't get out of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started at Family and Children's as a receptionist, and then transitioned into the programs with the Lynn Public School, which what it used to be called Community Partnership. Now we are CFACE, and started as an administrative assistant, but moved into an advocate position. I was also part of the program, Parent-Child Home Visiting Program. When I had my daughter at an early age, I didn't have a lot of knowledge about parenting and children and all that stuff, and basically they took me, took me into the program.
You should be the face for this. For those at home, Lucy's not a big fan of being on TV, but she's so gracious enough to join us today that we're very thankful to have her. But what a story, huh? I mean, you were essentially one of the people that you're helping today. Then you got in, you were a secretary, and you worked your way up to your title now, which is what?
Family advocate for CFACE program.
Wow, that's amazing. Lucy, congratulations. Keep it up.
Thank you.
So let's learn a little bit about CFACE now. I've got written down here, it stands for Coordinated Family and Community Engagement. You had mentioned that this has been around since '98. It started out as a literacy program. Tell us a little bit about the history of the program before we get into all the programs of the program.
Sure. And that's exactly how it started. It was the Mass Family Network. It was a grant, like I say, that had been written primarily for prenatal up to 3-year-olds throughout the community. Certain communities, applied for it, got the grant. Lynn was fortunate to be a recipient that first year. So they were notified in 98, and in 1999 is when it kicked off. And it was unfortunately in the middle of a school year, but we had to move fast with it. So what was I going to do, being the program teacher and the only program teacher from the school department, as well as there was an advocate at the time, and then they were going to hire a school nurse, because we were, mind, spirit, and wellness. Put it all together to, make a happy family. How do you work with families? Pulling all that together. And so what happened was I had to come up with a real plan on how am I going to reach families with birth. And a light went on. I had volunteered at Beverly Hospital for several years in the maternity. And I used to be able to go in and see new moms. And I could see that, the connection, a lot of them being brand new, had no idea. Where do I go? What do I do? I have a license to drive. I may have a license to do certain work, but where's a license to parent? So that was basically, and I had that from my own personal experience, because after teaching, for a few years and becoming a mom the same way, there's no book that's going to ever tell us how do you parent. So I developed a connection with Salem Hospital in Beverly. And I was very fortunate, after a lot of, meetings with the staff, the doctors, to be able to go over there. And any Lynn resident at the time would get a visit from Francie with a welcome bag, letting them know about all of the programs that we were hoping to, be able to offer to them. And you can't just go in without a plan. So what we did was we developed play groups, simple things at first, story times, new parent support groups, because I wish it was something that I had 37 years ago as a new mom.
Yeah.
Who do you go to? So that's how it started. And historically, it was, again, the birth to 3, and then because, each year you apply for the grant, they liked what we were doing here in Lynn, and not only in Lynn, but other communities. So it grew, birth to 5-year-olds, because so many children, when there isn't a school or a system that can offer pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, all-day kindergarten, where are these parents going to, go with their children to prepare them for the classroom door?
It's interesting stuff, Lucy. I mean, it'd be interesting to get a little bit of perspective, because you had mentioned that you were a mom at one point in time. And you were essentially in the same shoes as these people that we were helping at the beginning of the program. I mean, it must be scary. I mean, I've got, for those at home who don't know, I've got no experience being a mom. I have a mom. If kids are anything like I was as a kid, I probably wouldn't be a great mom. So, I mean, I do look forward to I like kids and all that stuff, but, mom is definitely the toughest job in the universe, as they say. What was it like? You're just giving birth. You're sitting there with your baby, and now it's begun. Yeah. Oh, now I'm a mom. Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a challenge. I did grow up in a big family, but being one of the babies of the family, didn't really have a natural opportunity, to gain any experience, with children and stuff. So when I had my own child, it was just like, even though I had all these siblings, it was a whole new thing. It was completely, it was definitely a challenge for me. Just getting out of school and got out of North Shore, and I just had no idea what to do. So I entered the agency working as a receptionist, as I mentioned before. And when I started the program, and my daughter was probably 2 years old, I just, I was overwhelmed. It took me so long to get into, this is a child that you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Scary, yes.
It's really scary. And So I needed the skills, and being in the reception area in the program gave me the opportunity of learning so many different things. You know, I had different hats because there was a contract with her program and other programs in the agency, and I got to learn all of that stuff, and it was just great seeing them and participating in the program whenever they gave me an opportunity, you know, stay and work after so I can have my daughter in the programs. And eventually I got invited to participating in the parent-child home program, and it was just a whole learning experience that I will always be thankful for. My daughter's 15 years old now, and she is an awesome student, and ever since she was very young, you know, everywhere she went, the Head Start, the daycare, they always, you know, rave about how great she was, and you know, she was reading at an early age, she was talking at an early age, and I definitely will be, you know, forever grateful to the Parent-Child Home Program and the Lynn Family Network. And I have so much love for the program, and I have learned so much from the program as a mom that I just feel the need of teaching these two other programs, and I have approached Francie and our old PCHP coordinator and said, you know, I love this program and I would love to be part of it. And when the space opened up, I started doing home visits myself because it was such important for me to give some of what I have learned, and that's how I got into the home visiting program and then became family advocate as well. Interesting
stuff. And I mean, your story, Lucy, is awesome, and I'm stoked to have you on the show, and I plan to have you on more. So this won't be your last time on TV, I hope. But the way that you speak about the program, I mean, like, you've been through it, you care about it, you love it. It's almost like you guys aren't even at work when you're doing this type of stuff. We got about 3 minutes until we go to a break. Let's learn a little bit about some of the programs that we have out there. Francie, why don't you take that one?
Sure. Again, play groups. They're all free. We have them broken down to ages. We have our little rascals, 3 and 4 year olds, which we are inundated with numbers because these are the kids that probably didn't get into a pre-K. So that parents are always on the premises. The children are separated. It's getting them ready for that separation for when they get to the real school. And then we also have what we call our little tiny tots. That's from birth up to 5 year olds, parent and child involved. Those are a couple of the programs. And then we also have story times, and we are doing them in Nahant. Lynn Public Library, probably our biggest collaborator. We have a marriage that, you know, if we need the room, we're there. So we run story times over there as well. And then, of course, like I said, we're over in Marblehead. We do a play group over there for new moms. It's phenomenal. Nahant, Kathy Weston, another part of our team. Kathy is covering Nahant because, again, you know, you can't go too many places and get all of these freebies. And I hate to use that term like that, but there's always an event, as you can see, and thank you so much for displaying. Yeah. Firehouse, we have our couple of times a year, the firemen, you know, they welcome us, the parents, they take the children down, we all go as a group. We have evening events for the working families, She and Me, Mother's Day is coming up, Lynn Public Library. All of these flyers are distributed throughout the community. We have our calendars, which go out. May and June just was put in the mail last week.
Yep, we get those here.
Multiple number of opportunities here for families. What, you know, may be a fit for one, may not be a fit for another,
right.
But and in English and in Spanish, and we're also, there are Somalian groups now that are going on. We also have Cambodian groups that we collaborate with, family and children's. So because of the diversity in the city, as we all know, 71 different countries and 68 different languages in the Lynn Public Schools. So we have to, you know, make sure that everybody is aware of this, and this venue here is so important because I know a lot of the families do, you know, they go on LynnCAM, but we're out there, we're outreaching. You can see us at the laundromats, you can see us at the grocery stores, because we feel every single person, you know, deserves that right.
Yeah, you guys are at the hospitals too.
Hospital
I mean, there's no doubt about it. In regards to community outreach, you're on top of things.
Right.
When we get back, let's get into the numbers. We'll talk about how many people you help. He had mentioned how many different types of languages that you have to deal with as well.
Right.
So before we get into too much of the numbers, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more with Francie and Lucy about the Lynn Public Schools.
There are heroes among us. They don't fly or bend steel or ride off into the sunset. They simply volunteer to look after someone else's health by providing comfort, lending a hand, or simply keeping us on track. Everyone's health needs a hero. Who will you look out for?
Find out how you can participate in improving our health. Visit iparticipate.org.
Hi, I'm Russell Simmons. Today I want to talk to you about a very important subject, and it's cruelty to animals. Emmy was a victim of cruelty and someone did something about it. Someone called the ASPCA and put an end to it, because Emmy can't talk. The fact is, animals are abused all over this country and people sit by and do nothing. It's not slick or fly or cool or none of that. It's just cruel. If you're aware of any animal abuse, go to aspca.org. Find out what you can do now to make a difference. She can't do it for herself.
Welcome back to the LynnCAM TV Show. For those of you just joining us, we're here with Francie Sudak and Lucy Encarnacion of the Lynn Public Schools. We're here today to talk about a state grant issue, community involvement engagement program. It's called CFACE. It stands for Coordinated Family and Community Engagement. These ladies are an amazing advocates, especially when it comes to brand new parents, making them aware of what types of options they've got. They're on this constantly, and I commend you guys, on behalf of us here at LynnCAM. Again, thanks for being here. Before we went to our break, we were talking about some of the programs. The list goes on and on and on. Let's talk a little bit more about the numbers. How many people do you think you help on maybe a yearly basis, Francie?
Well, we just finished our quarterly report, and we've just applied. This year, the grant is competitive. So with that being said, this past year we've served between 6,000, 6,500 families.
Wow.
In some capacity. Yeah, whether it's, again, attending the play group, the story hours, whatever we offer. And we had the huge early childhood fair, which was wonderful. Parents are coming for resources, referrals. They're making the call. So all documented that, we've reached out. We know that somewhere they've heard about us. I do want to take this opportunity also to let the viewers know that in the high schools and in the middle schools, it's no secret that there are teen parents and teens who are pregnant. And that is one of my major roles right now, aside from, with the team's help getting all of this underway, that I do have to serve Lynn English, Lynn Classical, FECT O'Leary, and Lynn Tech, and also the 3 middle schools, to make sure that those students that have become parents stay in school, and that what we are doing is the numbers are down. We are so fortunate because most of the students that are in school now that are parenting, they are parenting. Very few pregnancies have gone on, and that, I believe, is a result of what we have put together these past couple of years, the Road Show, where we take those seniors, juniors, freshmen, whomever, and they go out, and they're the biggest advocates to talk to the, to the middle schools and to talk to the 9th graders, to let them know about the challenges of teen parenting, because they are parents and they do, they want to go on to school, they want to further their education, whether it's in a trade or whatever. So that's been huge, and I do want to applaud, the students themselves for getting the word out. So we are seeing a big decline here in the schools on teen pregnancy. And with that being said, back to the numbers, beside English, beside, the Spanish, and fortunately Lucy being one of our translators, we do make sure that all of the schools get everything in Arabic, Khmer, Cambodian language, and also the French Creole, because again, going back to the diversity, you know, a lot of parents don't know about these programs. So if we can tap into that and let the, you know, let the community know that there are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of groups that they too, you know, they may not know how to go about it. They can certainly get a hold of us. If we don't have the answer, we find it out for them. We have collaborations with the New American Center. We have collaborations with, you know, between the Boys and Girls Clubs and between the after-school programs, you know, the Greg House, the Girls Inc. We have a wonderful council which meets, you know, every other month now, and members from throughout the community, whether they're in private, bankers, anybody that wants to hear more about or contribute to, you know, our goal, you know, they're more than welcome to join that. And I want to thank you, Sean, for you're going to be joining us on that role too as a business person here, because there's so many resources. I grew up in Lynn, born in Lynn, went through all the Lynn public schools myself, and I'm not too afraid to admit, 65 years, I did not realize that there is so much out there for residents, and you know, unless you ask, you know, where do you go? We have families that come into our programs, they do not know where their neighborhood school is. Where do I go to register? That is our role. We are the link. This is where you're going to go, this is what you're going to do, because they just need that. We have a lot of new families moving into the city, which is a wonderful thing. A lot of these homeowners, we get calls, and again, it's universal. From families, you know, where do I go to enroll my student, you know, my child? So that is where we feel that we're doing our job. If we can reach a few families a day with whatever the case may be. I need daycare. Where do I go to, you know, sign up for a career development? We're there, you know, hopefully we're there. And our phone numbers, I'm sure at some point, maybe we can, you know, have them scrolled across on how they can access this information. They're more than welcome to call us, get on the mailing list, get these calendars, CPR classes, infant massage classes, yoga classes, how to swim, when to swim, take your baby swimming to the YMCA. I mean, we could go on and on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's,
I want to give me a pump right here, because you know there are a lot of people out there right now who I mean. It's like I always hear, now that I'm involved with community, I always hear, I'm a Lynn guy. And it's like, well, what does that mean? You're born here, you live here. And then there are a lot of people who strive to go in politics. And I think that that is a huge, huge part of any community. But nowadays, where we have so much immigration here into Lynn, people need to be aware that the government isn't there to help you. It's organizations like yours that are there to help out. The government's there just to make sure that the streets are clear, trash gets taken care of. They're not going to help you. It's people like you. So when I hear, hey, I'm a Lynn guy, you know, images of Lucy pop up, images of everybody else who do things like you guys do. You're advocates. You're Lynn advocates. We got about less than 5 minutes to go on the show. You had mentioned you want to read this book. It's important to talk about this because the program had started out as a literacy campaign, so that's also very prevalent in what you guys do. Let's take some time to read that book.
I would, only because this was the original bag that we bought 14 years ago, and these go to the hospitals filled chock full of information. And it was cuddle up and read, as you can see. We were in the baby business at that point, and we still are, with our little guy reading the book. If I can leave here with just one message, in order for us to go out and advocate all of these programs that we are, you know, we go to workshops for financial literacy, STEM programs, you know, all of the different things, people have to be able to read. And if they can't read, and this book is something that goes to the hospitals in the bags for all of the families. We have it in English and Spanish. And bear with me, I don't like to leave without not spreading the word of cuddle up and read is our motto. And
I kind of want to like sit on the floor right now.
Read to your bunny. And if there's nothing else that a parent does during the day, it doesn't take much. Read to your bunny often. It's 20 minutes of fun. It's 20 minutes of moonlight and 20 minutes of sun. 20 old favorite minutes, 20 minutes brand new. Read to your bunny often and your bunny will read to you. And that is really what we are all about. Because if a parent has a love of reading, there is no question in our minds, and we have it documented through research, that you're going to have a child who's going to want to be a reader. And we want to thank you, Sean, really, for letting us spread the message. When that famous quote, Lynn, the city of, for us, it's the Lynn, city of win. There you go.
2 pumps in one show. That's a record.
There you go.
I'm stoked that you said that. Hopefully that catches on, Lynn, City of Win. Yeah, for those at home who aren't really aware, it's not a reading class for me. We're reading Read to Your Bunny so we can create some awareness about C-FACE and the different types of programs that they offer at home. I think that you two ladies are outstanding. You're saints. I mean, you really are. Keep up the good work. Don't let anybody tell you any less, and do what you can do to keep spreading your word. We're here for you as a resource, and I'll definitely be there at your event to speak on your behalf and all that fun stuff. So, C-FACE, Lynn Public Schools, Francie Sudak, Lucy Encarnacion. I'm Sean Donahue from the LynnCAM TV Show here at the LynnCAM TV studio. I'm Sean Donahue, wishing you all the best.